Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. If this was a normal year, this would be the last day of the month, but this is a leap year. So we have one more day, February 28th tomorrow, where we'll be visiting a new deck. But this is day 7 that we're working with this deck. This is the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Comes to us from Rockpool Publishing. And I do just want to read the message on the back, or one of the things that she has. She says here, there's great beauty and power in the darkness. What if by stepping into the realm of the monsters and the things that go bump in the night, what seems twisted and dangerous is actually a torch leading us out of the darkness and into divine wholeness. So this is a deck that I use for shadow work for myself. Shadow work isn't something bad. I think it's where we kind of connect with things in our deep unconscious, our subconscious, kind of letting us know why we respond the way we do. Why do we respond with anger? Why do we respond with sarcasm? Why do we respond by hoarding things? Why do we respond sometimes with manipulation? There's so many things that are part of our shadow, and I think decks like this can help us find those things out about ourselves or help us work our way through them. One of the reasons that I wanted to work with this deck is because I still strongly feel that we are in shadow season. I'm in the northern hemisphere, and so I really feel like shadow season comes to us from the fall equinox through winter and then into the spring equinox. At this time of the year, there is more night than there is light. And then after the spring equinox, we have more light than we have night. We can still work with our shadow then, because there's a shadow with the moon cycles, a shadow in most everything. There's a shadow in every day, light, right? When it's dark. But I really think of winter as being shadow season and a good time for us to learn. And I think decks like this are a great way to help us connect with our shadow and learn things about ourselves. I'm going to continue doing my daily 2-card energy and focus reading. So the energy is the force that's directed at us towards from the universe, from our environment. Maybe it's our work environment. Maybe it's our home environment. Maybe it's a bigger environment. And then the focus is our intention, our effort, or the response that we put into that. Because no matter what energy comes at us, we have a choice every day. Every moment, we have a choice in how we respond. And so that's one of the reasons I really like investigating this kind of reading, where we get energy coming at us, but then we also see how are we going to play on that? How are we going to respond to things? Just want to let you see this deck. It's kind of a shiny deck, which makes it a little bit difficult to see this beautiful red and black card. Well, if I leave it like that, there are little glimmers here of light, which kind of reminds us that even in the shadow, there is light with us. So, before every reading, I open a circle of light and love and protection, and it extends to myself as well as anyone who will watch this reading. And I believe that no matter when you watch this reading, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now, there is something in this reading for you. There's something for you to learn, or there's some message in it from you. So let's look at the energy of the day. I'm not clear on that. Let's do one more shuffle. Mostly I shuffle these cards this way. Yesterday I tried to shuffle and they jumped right out of my hands. Those were the cards I went with. I believe they were meant to be, but there we go. A little bit more clear. So that is our energy card, and then our focus. So that is our focus card. So I'll continue to read from these intuitively, and then I will look at the guidebook as well. And Stacy DeMarco has beautiful, beautiful things in here. As a matter of fact, she has so much written in these decks that I'm just kind of skimming the surface of them. But so our energy for the day. Oh, this is Cersei again. She's come up twice for us. The day before yesterday. Her message is alchemy. And so we talked about how Cersei shows up. Probably she's most known for being in the Odysseus myths or stories, him traveling home after the Trojan War. Odysseus is how he was referred to in the Greek stories. Ulysses is how he was referred to in the Roman stories. But he was working his way home. He landed on this island where she was at, and there was nobody but her and all of these animals. And he soon realizes that she is actually turning men into these animals, because she is a great and powerful sorceress, and she can alchemize, which is our message here. Alchemy is when you take something, you work with it a little bit, you add a few things, you take a few things out, and then you get something new. That is what alchemy is. In the Middle Ages, alchemy was kind of, everybody thought the idea was turning, base metals into gold. That's what they wanted. They wanted gold. Now, of course, gold, depending on how you look at it, is a bright, shiny metal, or maybe gold can be multiple things. Love, energy, wealth, abundance. That can also be gold. Excuse me. Take a drink of my water here. All right, let me read from the Circe card for us so we can get an idea of what this day has in store for us. It says here, you are the magic. Be your own alchemist. Deepen your plant and herbal knowledge. Do not trust fleeting first impressions. Sometimes things are not exactly as they seem. Look deeper. Get clear about what is real and what is not. And the duality message in this card is truth versus deception. So, when we focused on alchemy, the one thing I want to focus on today when I look at this card is how she opens this. You are the magic. You are the magic. I am the magic. You are the magic. Anyone watching this reading, you are magic. And you have the ability to transform one thing into another, depending on the focus, intention, and energy you put into it. So it's very important. So let's look at what our focus card is today to help us kind of judge the energy of the day. So we have here the Scylla, which was a monster in Greek mythology, and she kind of looks like, when you think of the Gorgons or Medusa, what they might look like. But the Scylla, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And the message here is resilience. And so sometimes resilience is sticking it out. Like, even if things don't seem like they're working, even if you're putting all this effort and intention and focus into something and it's just not working out the way you think it is, stick to it. Be resilient. Treasures will come to you. Gifts will come to you. They might not be exactly what you intended, but they will be exactly what you need. But you need to be resilient and you need to keep working at it. What a beautiful, beautiful message we're getting today. Let me read what this card says. And I do want to read from the book just a little bit because I, again, am just shocked and amazed at how these cards connect with one another. So it says here, most people who know of the Scylla were introduced to her through Homer's epic, The Odyssey, which also introduces Circe to us. Odysseus wants to return home with his men and is told that he will have to pass through the Straits of Messina, close to two monsters to do so. Scylla guards one side of the rough and narrow waters. The Charybdis, as another monster in the shape of an inescapable whirlpool, is on the other side. It is said that the two monsters were in an arrow's range of one another, so that if one didn't get you, the other certainly would. So who was Scylla and why was she a monster? There are a number of origin stories about her, but again, most relate to a woman being jealous of another and harming her enough that she becomes monstrous, a repeating motif in ancient Greek world. Before she was turned into a monster, she was seen as a beautiful sea nymph, daughter of Porcus and Ceto, deities of the sea. They were also the parents of the Gorgons, which is why she perhaps looks this way. So that is, anyways, there were myths about why she turned, but then she became this frightening creature that no man would ever find pleasing. She is seen often as having multiple heads. I kind of think of her in my mind as like a hydra, you know, where you cut off a head and then two more spring out. Anyway, she was seen as a monster, but she was resilient. It says here, Homer writes of Scylla in Circe's voice, no crew can boast that they have ever sailed their ship past Scylla unscathed. Scylla was not born for death. She is a thing of terror, intractable, ferocious, and impossible to fight. The one thing that she did was she never gave up. I'm not saying it's good to be a monster or try to, you know, bring all these people to their death, but one thing that she had for her was the power of resilience. So, it says here, life throws adversity at you. There is no escaping this. Yet building resilience allows you to handle this better. Building flexibility is a key to developing resilience. righteous anger is not shameful. Sometimes you get caught between a rock and a hard place. You need to make a decision between two poor outcomes to get what you need to go, or where you need to go. The duality message here is resilience versus rigidity and righteous anger versus anger. I don't know. I'm looking at her as being very resilient, and so I'm looking at this as resilience versus rigidity. But sometimes, that's interesting, sometimes we can be so rigid in what we want that we can't see any other outcome. And so kind of that's what I mentioned earlier. Like, we have the ability to alchemize anything. We are magic, and we can turn something into something else. But perhaps what we're hoping for isn't what we need. So we're resilient and we keep working at it. We will get the gift that we want. We just need to know that we can't be so rigid in saying that, no, I must have this thing. Being resilient and keeping working on it, but releasing rigidity a little bit and finding out that maybe this thing that you thought you wanted isn't what you needed, but this thing is. Just a really interesting message for us today. I'm excited to see what this day has. I'm excited to see these cards that come up a couple times, and we got Circe twice later in this week, and I am excited to see her because her message to us is alchemy, turning one thing into another, and you are magic. So I think that's beautiful. I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you connected with it in some way. I would love to hear what you're thinking about this card deck. This is the last day that we're working with this deck, and this was the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco from Rockpool Publishing. I love her decks, not just because her name is my name, though we're not spelled the same way. I mean, it's an awesome name. What can you say? Anyways, please like, please subscribe, please share these videos and these readings. I would love to help this channel grow so I can share these messages to other people. And not just this deck, which is kind of dark and tied to shadow work, but how I believe that oracle cards can help us get messages to us from the divine universe, from our divine creator, from our divine self. That we can do that through these messages in these oracle cards. So I thank you for watching this reading. This one got a little bit long, but I was sure excited about these cards. My name is Stacy. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me.